Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon, and welcome back to the Critical Psych Show, a YouTube channel where we play video games and we discuss pretty much anything that is of interest. The first episode was sort of a primer of what this channel would be about, and the second one was actually sort of a discussion podcast type conversation about are video games bad for you? And basically, we came to the conclusion, or at least I did, that video games are bad for you if you are the type of person who lets things kind of take your life over, and it might be telling you that you're missing something in life, and it's sort of like a replacement for to fill that void up. But they're not really that bad for you if you don't have anything in your life that needs filling. There's a healthy way you can manage playing video games with the rest of your life, your external life, aside from spending time on the computer or in front of a TV. So it's sort of a convoluted answer, but it's definitely a conversation that was worth having, because I think in today's world it's starting to become a more prominent issue, and maybe it's just a trend and it'll go away in a few years, but at this rate it seems like it might just continue to just kind of progress, and these games are going to become more addicting just by the way they're designed. So it should be interesting to see how it goes, and with virtual reality and augmented reality, how that's taking off, and how that will affect people's attitude and perception about games, whether or not it makes them want to play more games because they'll be able to delve into these virtual realities, or if maybe virtual reality isn't the way they want to play games because it's too much of a disconnect from real life. It's hard to say, but we'll keep our eyes open, and we'll have to track the news. If I hear anything cool pertaining to that subject, I will definitely have to bring it to your guys' attention, and we could talk about it here. But anyway, today I'm going to be playing some World of Warcraft Classic, just like I said in the past. Now, this game is super cool to me. I mean, I'm sure to a lot of people it is. My story is sort of like a lot of people's stories. I saw someone playing the game. I was like, what the hell is that game? That looks really cool. Looks right up my alley. And, it's World of Warcraft. And then, like many others, I'm sure, I wasn't able to actually start playing the game because you had to pay the subscription fee. So the barrier of entry for younger people like myself at the time, I was about 12 years old, it was very hard to get into. But once I did, I was hooked. It had me, hooked to the mouth, and I was just on my way, and I just never stopped playing it since. I took some breaks and stuff. I'll admit that the game is not the way it used to be, at least the current version, Battle for Azeroth. Just the whole idea of the game and the gameplay mechanics and systems are a lot different than they used to be. They cater towards a different crowd of people, and I'm sort of like an old school guy. A game has to sort of meet some expectations that I enjoyed from games, earlier on, kind of more simplified games rather than having all this flashy and twitchy gameplay. So I want to just, since Classic has come out, I want to really start, playing it more than I have, because I've been really busy, so I can finally start playing it. And I think it would be cool to start a character with you guys, not my main, because my main is on his way to 60 right now, my human paladin. And then I have a hunter on the horde side, a troll hunter. But I want to just start a new character for you guys, and I think it'd be kind of fun to just sit down and just play the game, and just sort of highlight the travels of my new character that I'm going to be creating. So I did some thinking over the past week since my last video about what I wanted to do, and I decided that I would be doing this. And I was like, what am I going to play? What am I going to do? And I decided I'm going to do a human mage. I know, if I wanted to min-max like a lot of people, I would pick gnome, but I'm not a big fan of gnomes. I don't think they look particularly cool in gear. And humans, I don't know. Like, since I'm a human, I'm down with that. That's fine with me. Humans are pretty cool, and they have some pretty good, they have some pretty good racials and all that. They have stealth detection increase, which is just, great across the board. Increased spirit, that will help me regain mana. Bonus to rep gains, that's very valuable. And skills with swords and maces increase. It's sort of a throwaway racial, but I'm still going to be carrying around a sword and some maces, so maybe during the lower levels, it'll help me out a little bit. Sorry guys, the screen is like a little bit bright here, and I'm hoping you guys can hear me. The music in the launch, or the music in the main menu is a little bit overbearing, but the in-game sound should be a little bit better. And one more thing, if you hear barking or whining, it's my dog. So I might have to make a quick cut at some point to take her out. So I apologize about that. Just 1 second, she's getting into something. All right, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so like I was saying, I'm gonna go human mage, because the reason I'm doing this is because I've actually never really played a mage. I played more of like the BFA. I think I played a mage in Legion, and mage is really cool. And the problem with what I have with Legion mages is each spec is so defined. And when I think of mage, I think of master of elements and arcane. But if you kind of have to, you kind of get shoehorned into picking one thing. So if I was an ice mage or a frost mage leveling up, and literally all I was using were frost spells, which I get. That makes sense. But it's sort of this cool fantasy if you can kind of tap into all of the different magic schools, because mages are just masters of magic. So that was a part that kind of like I got to max level, and I was like, is this really worth it? And I stopped playing him and I hopped back to my mage, which is usually what always happens, because I always end up just going back to my paladin, my main. So I want to play a mage in classic. Number one, because I heard the leveling process is pretty nice, and it's pretty steady. You get to a point where there's not a whole lot of downtime, because you're just bursting these mobs down with your destruction spells and all that. So, and then also, I never played a mage back then, and I heard that they were a lot of fun, and being able to produce my own food and produce my own teleports and portals is a super valuable thing. And an area of effect, so I'll be able to do some high-level farming when I get to that point, make some money, farm some mats for my ults and stuff like that. So I think he's a good choice, and I think I'm gonna have some fun. So I'm just gonna quickly make my guy. Usually my humans are always pretty much the same. They usually look like the character from, I think, the Burning Crusade cinematic. That polymorphs. Or no, he doesn't polymorph. He's up there fighting the demon up on the castle. Let me see. He kind of has like longer hair. It's black, and it has this like pretty cool goatee. I don't think it's that one. I think it's this one. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's sort of like iconic, that cutscene. You usually go with like the bluish greenish eyes, because that's what I have. So I'm going to do this guy, and I'm going to name him Alacaster, because that's another one of my recycled names that I usually go to. I'm playing on the server Harad. You can see my paladin up here. He hasn't made it very far, but he's sort of a work in progress. I'm taking him kind of slow, enjoying the quests and stuff. The sword's actually pretty nice. Don't let it fool you. It's wooden, but it's like the wooden training sword of the monkey, so it gives me some agi and stamina, I think. So it's pretty good for low levels. So yeah, here's my mage, and I'm just gonna hop in. I'm just gonna lower this desktop audio a little bit, because I can. And just 1 second while you guys watch this. So, sorry about that. Dog is getting into things that it shouldn't, as puppies do. So let's just watch this real quick.
Though the recent invasion of the demonic Burning Legion decimated their sister kingdom of Lord,
I think that's Tyrallion up the middle there.
stand vigilant against any who would threaten the sanctity of their lands. Nestled in the foothills of Elwyn Forest, Stormwind City is one of the last bastions of human power in the world. Ruled by the Child King Anduin Rin, the people of Stormwind remain steadfast.
I'm not even sure if you guys can hear this.
To the Grand Alliance.
Oh, now you guys really can't hear it.
Savage horde on distant battlefields.
I clicked off the
The
video, I'm
army's
sorry.
gone. The defense of Stormwind now falls to its proud citizens. You must defend the kingdom against the foul mongrels that encroach upon it, and hunt down the subversive traitors who seek to destroy it from within.
Alrighty.
Now is the time for heroes. Now humanity's greatest chapter can be told.
I should probably put subtitles on for you guys. I'm not sure how those levels are. Okay. So here we are. First things first, I always like to go and turn auto loot on. As you can see, I have Questy here. I got that because it just makes life easier. Like I said, I don't get to play that much, so Questy's a nice little addition to the game. Put the Frost Armor up here. Okay, so we have Frost Armor. Okay, I remember this. Pop that on, and I will put that Shift 1 and my Fireball on there, and that on there. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I like to just do a couple little things right there. Alright. Speak with Marshall McBride. I'm not going to read the quest because that might get awfully boring for you guys. I'll kind of just, in a nutshell, kind of explain what's going on here. So I did some of these quests with my Paladin. So there's threats going on. Kobolds, you know, the classic conundrum. Okay. Let's see here. Let's grab this quest here.
Good day to you. Have a good one.
Egan Pelt Skinner. Okay. So we need to kill some vermins. And here's Egan.
What can I do for you?
Bring 8 pieces of tough wolf meat to Egan Pelt Skinner outside Northshire Abbey. Guess we're making some armor for ourselves. All right. Now I just wonder how fast mages run out of mana in Classic. Guess we're about to find out. I don't know how much I can spam spells before I have to go drink some water. Doesn't seem bad. Oh, I think I'm gonna steal this guy's. Sorry about that, man. Didn't mean it. Yeah, see, I'm already running out of mana. Let me just apologize to him. Sorry. Oh, okay. Don't give me a hard time, man. Apologies. Oh. This means war. Okay, let's do it, man. Bring it on, dude. This is gonna suck. Haha! My first ever duel as a mage, and I win. GG. Well played. Next time I won't be so lucky. Take care. Alright. He laughs. Okay. Flimsy chain pants. It's a bummer I can't use those. Mages just really rip through these guys. Just getting nervous about the mana. See, I'm already running out. I only have two refreshing spring waters too. Oh, so that kind of does a little bit of a dot. I kind of like that. That's nice. Okay. Well, that was fun. That was a little bit of action here. Duel at level 1. I don't think that's ever happened to me. So that's an achievement. So now he would kick me. He would kick my ass because he's level 2. But I'm about to be level 2 as well, so I'm not really worried about it. So I understand I'm sort of behind a little bit. People have been 60. There's many people at 60, and they've already done all the content, which doesn't surprise me because, you know, people play this game a lot. I wish I could play a lot, but at the same time, I don't. I'm kind of grateful I don't have a lot of time because I would be stuck on this game. There is an addicting factor, and it's like talking about we talked about our video games addicting, and I truly do think this game is up there on that list. and I don't think it is meant intentionally. It's just something that it's hard to explain. It's just the dopamine rush of playing this game and getting new stuff, and always setting these goals for ourselves and achieving them. It's this addicting rinse and repeat sort of process. So I need vermins. Okay. I remember when I was a young kid, I do remember I would just like look forward to playing this game at school all day. This was back in like middle school, and I would just think about it all day. It was like really pathetic. I'm sure that's probably why I didn't get a girlfriend back then, because I was weird. I was really I was really weird. Not just because of that, but I was a quiet guy, and I don't know. People probably just got the wrong idea of me. But in reality, I always wanted to like have a lot of friends and stuff, and be part of all these social circles. But I had this nerdy side to me that I kind of kept in the inside and didn't really reveal to anybody until later in life, and it made me way happier because I could just be myself and not have to like tiptoe around everybody. Because believe it or not, you know, back when I was in middle school, everyone was playing like Call of Duty and Halo and all that. There's like, you know, bloody games or the shooter games. They never really tickled my fancy. So this was the game that I played, and honestly, it was almost like if you played World of Warcraft, you were sort of like a laughing stock. I'm not even kidding around. I don't know if that happened to any of you guys, but yeah, it was a little bit sad, and like you felt kind of oppressed, you know, and you went home and you played your game, and you didn't tell anyone about it except for the few people that played and you knew of. And then the funniest thing was, you know, as you grew up, you found out that all these other kids played the game, and even like the popular kids. And then you like, oh, like, okay, it's not so bad. And then, you know, in high school, everyone kind of, it was kind of the cool thing actually to play WoW, which was awesome. But at the same time, like, oh man, my game's getting popular. So it was sort of this like hipster in me that was getting a little frustrated. Like, oh, I found this game first. I like this game way before you did. But it's not about that. It was fun. I mean, the more the merrier. The more people we found out about the game and started playing it, it made the experience better because we just had more people to play with. I remember we had a guild in high school, and it was named after our mascot, our school mascot. I went to a school called Central Bucks West, and our mascot was the Bucks, like a deer. So we were the CB Bucks, and it was cool because there were like at least like 10 to 15 people in the guild that all went to the same school. So the power of gaming, right? So I thought that was really neat. But nowadays it's like really hard, and not many people kind of shifted their interests elsewhere, whether it's video games or just like other avenues in life, which I think is great. I think at some point you gotta have other things in life. Some things are inevitable, and you just have all these things in your life that you can't really shake, and you know, and then you learn to enjoy them, such as work and going to school, and forming relationships, and you know, caring about people and taking care of people. I found that to be way more meaningful than video games have ever been. Video games have got me through a lot, but you know, there was a time and place for that. But now it's not really. I don't rely so much on playing games because there's like 1,000 things I could do. But sometimes I just want to sit down and play games and kind of know life it, because it brings me joy. But like I said, I think true meaning kind of manifests itself when you're doing something. Sorry, my screen's probably gonna freeze up. Sorry about that. I think my screen froze up because I think my motherboard's starting to go, so I have to address that. Sorry about that, guys. Alright. Okay, I'm bringing this to the Mage trainer. Oh, I gotta go sell real quick. What was I saying? Oh, I think real true meaning is extracted out of,
What are you looking for?
you know, sort of bearing responsibility and kind of basically, you know, life is intrinsically very full of anxiety, and it's stressful as anything. Every day it's stressful, and we sort of have to like organize the world through our eyes and make it bearable for ourselves, and sort of justify its the suffering of life, because it can be. I'm not trying to sound pessimistic. I think by default, like, life is full of misery, but it's also we can make what we want out of that misery, and we choose what we want. If we want to live a happy life or a sad life, or a life full of pessimism, or a life full of confidence and joy, that's something that we get the chance of choosing, and I think that's just part of being a human. Okay, we're gonna go down and get some red burlap bandanas from the thieves down here. I think it's the Brotherhood. I got another quest in here. All right, that's right, because I just had to sell. Sorry, I kind of got on a tangent here.
Greetings.
But yeah, that's like the interesting part about being a human being. We gotta kill more kobolds. Okay.
Light bless you.
Is that we kind of have this, it's sort of like a blessing and a curse consciousness. It's kind of a tough thing. I thought I grabbed that one quest from him. Sorry guys, I'm kind of fumbling here because I'm trying to talk about something. Oh, because I'm a mage. I went to the warrior trainer. Whoopsies. But yeah, we have this unique ability where we can make life what we want it to be, because we have free will, and you know, that's what they say. I believe we have free will, and we get to make our own choices, and we get to basically judge a situation and be like, well, that's just not going to bother me, or, you know, it's not worth bothering me. Or you could be like, get lost and bothered by it, and just completely shatters your life. And it happens, but we have the power to kind of overcome anything to an extent as far as emotions go, and it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of bravery to overcome obstacles in life that have to do with this whole idea of consciousness, because it's extremely scary. We were put here, and we have this free will, and we can make our own choices, and our choices have consequences, and we all understand that. That's extremely stressful. The fact that, you know, I could walk outside and go to the grocery store and not say hello to somebody, and then they get, you know, in a horrible accident or something like that. I mean, I hate to be dark, but it's it's those types of things that you could think about, and it could really disturb you, because there are situations that have been so coincidental and so and so based on being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or being in the right place at the right time, and just people you meet in your life. It's like, why did I meet you at this point? And like, I met you just at the right time. It's funny how life works, and that stuff, and this sort of spontaneity, I think is the word, of life, and how fast it can happen, is extremely stressful, and you never know what's going to be coming around the corner. So we just have to find a way to make life meaningful and out of all that darkness. And I think the best way to do that is, you know, taking care of yourself, or taking care of other people, or just bearing some kind of responsibility on your shoulders. It's super important, even though it's really hard to do, and it's not something people want. It's because it's very much a burden, you know, having to show up to work every day on time, and you know, being there for a good friend, or your mom or dad, brother or sister, girlfriend, wife, kids. Sorry, I'm killing the wrong kobold here. Anyway, it's extremely stressful, and there's just so much weight that's on our shoulders. But I think it's really important to have that, because at the end of the day, you feel accomplished, and it gives you this sense of belonging, that like, I made a difference in my own life, or I made a difference in someone else's life. That makes me feel good. And I don't think anything, even video games, can give you that sort of feeling. I think when you play video games, it's a whole different feeling than when you do something IRL, if you will, and you just can't beat it. And I think everyone knows that, and everyone knows that feeling of like, of what I'm talking about, is when you do something that maybe makes you uncomfortable, it has really just a really great effect on you and the people around you. that it's hard to find anywhere else. It's like up there with like other big feelings in life, like love and sadness and all that stuff. It's this burst of energy, and in this case, it's one that kind of, if you continue to do these things and bear this responsibility, it's like everlasting meaning. And I think I spoke about this in my first video. Meaning is not happiness. I think happiness is it's a symptom of meaning, but sadness and misery can come out of meaning as well. I don't think we should strive for happiness. I think we should strive for meaning, because happiness comes and goes, just like, sadness and depression. It comes and goes. There's these quick feelings. And I think we're meant to experience happiness, sadness. I wouldn't say so much depression, just because that's an extreme case of, might be on actually the flip side of meaning. It might be this meaning have no meaning in your life at all, and it's gotten to that point. So I think that's sort of like, they're two sides of the same coin. So you have your meaning, and then you have like depression, and then in the inside you have all these like really just quick bursts of emotions, such as happiness, sadness, pleasure, and all that stuff's in between there. And that's all good. That's all fine and dandy. But I think at the end of the day, it's more important to, have this meaning that's always on top of you, and it's following you everywhere you go. And I think I'm always striving to kind of accomplish that too. For the most part, I do believe that I lead a meaningful life. I'm very grateful to have a great job. I have great friends. I have a great family. I have a great girlfriend that I'm going to call my wife one day. And, but at the end of the day, there's still things that, get to me. Just like anybody, we're all human here. Some days I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad. Things happen that are intrinsically sad. And if you're not sad about something in some cases, then there might be something wrong, I'm sure you could probably think of some examples. But yeah. And I think when someone finally hits that point where they say, okay, every day I'm sort of feeling this sort of, it's like a strange feeling, and it's uncomfortable sometimes, but I think I like it, and I think it's just like this really foreign feeling that I'm not used to. I'm talking about meaning, because like I said, meaning doesn't always have to be enjoyable. Meaning could come out of, having to, work hard or make a sacrifice. Sometimes it's not something like we like to do. All right, I'm done with the kobolds. It's not always something that we like to do. Life itself is hard. Being a good person, living a meaningful life, are extremely hard, and you got to put a lot of effort into making sure that your life, meets those expectations. Now, what the easy thing to do is, not worry about anything, not bearing responsibility, not caring about other people, not working, the list goes on and on. That stuff is all easy, and even pleasure and sin and whatever sin might mean to you, sin and money and all these things like that don't really take much effort to, like, I guess there's sort of like these temporary little blips of happiness and these little pockets of feeling. All that stuff's pretty easy, and it's so easy to go and do that because it feels good. And I think that's sort of like a grand. I gotta go kill more kobolds. Fancy that. 1 second, guys. Sorry, my puppy is eating like a cardboard box because we just moved into our house. 1 second, guys. So yeah, things that feel good, and things that bring you happiness sometimes are easy, and sometimes things that aren't so good are hard, hard to get to. I like to make the metaphor, it's like, unhealthy food is really tasty, but it's not good for you. In the long run, it has a lot of repercussions to your health. But, if you're not really into fruits and vegetables, you know, if you're hungry, you're gonna go for that bag of chips, not that apple, or you know, that asparagus, because even though they're good for you, it doesn't exactly mean that you're gonna eat it, because it doesn't taste good. So if you're maybe on a diet and you're trying to force these fruits and vegetables down your throat, you might not be enjoying it, but you know it's a good thing. And I think it's a silly metaphor, but I feel like it sort of has some merit to it. I think it applies to real life. It's, you know, we could take the easy route and not bear responsibility, make life miserable for yourself and other people, because I truly believe that it's a domino effect, and energy emits from everybody. And if you carry a negative energy, it affects other people, and then that affects the people that they meet in their life, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think if you are the flip side of that coin, then, you know, small acts of kindness and joyous energy can be very addicting, and it can lead to someone else being that way to somebody else, and it's this ripple effect, and it's just constant ebb and flow of negativity, positivity, negativity, positivity. Oh my God, I'm going like crazy here. But yeah, it's this ebb and flow, and yeah, and I think what we have to do in life, and I don't think we're ever gonna get to that point, is if we want the world to be a better place, everyone has to do their part, you know. And it's sort of a selfish thing. It's almost as if I'm saying, man, the world would be a great place for me to live in if everyone just did their part and be like me. Because if everyone was like me, we'd still be in the same spot, because it's really just an impossible task to be perfect and to be good all the time and make the right decisions. Because I know there's times when I'm not doing the right thing. I don't mean that in like a detrimental way, but maybe I should go that extra step, you know. Maybe I should, you know, try not to be lazy next time I do something like that. Because I tend to get a little bit lazy depending on what it is. Just like anybody. I mean, no one's perfect, and I don't think when I say, oh, if everyone does their part, the world will be a better place. I don't think we're ever going to meet that goal. I really don't think that. But I think if you look at it, and if everyone if everyone just kind of aligns themselves on the positive side of life, it would improve the quality of life for everybody a tad. It wouldn't make life perfect. We wouldn't be living in like a dystopia, but. And that's another thing that I could go on and on about is, would we really want to live in a dystopia? Because if everything was just good, and good was screw the binary system, screw the zeros and ones, if we only had ones in the world, you know, would life even be worth it? You know, if everyone was on the same playing field, would everything be worth it? Would anything be worth it in life? Would anything be would we strive to be anything? So that's like an interesting thought, because when there's bad and good, I almost think that bad and good are two entities that need to exist in life, because it allows us to make decisions. And it's like this weird curse, I think, that we have to live with, is the fact that we can choose good or bad is a dangerous thing, but it's also like this blessing, because they're like tools. They're almost like a painter's like paint in the canvas. It's like, well, you have these two colors, and there's more than two colors, because there's a spectrum of different thresholds of bad and good. But we have all these colors that we can use to paint a picture, and you can choose what you want to use to make that picture. So it's kind of an interesting thought, and I don't think I'd want life to be. I think I'm done with these guys. I think I'm just rambling on at this point. Yeah, see? 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to wrap this up, because the dog is going to need to be played with a little bit. See, you can hear her, I think. But next time this won't happen, just because it's this rare case where my girlfriend is out tonight babysitting, and I'm home with her, and she didn't get her playing out of the way, so she's getting a little moody. and she's starting to eat everything. So I think I'm going to turn this in, finish up this thought, and I think I'm going to call it a day. Anyway, I think it's a thing we should all think about during our week is, do we want life to be perfect? Do we want everything to just be good or everything to be bad? Would that make life a better place if there was just one constant extreme? Because in my mind, I've thought about this for a while. I don't think I'd want just one extreme, because I think for good people to exist, there has to be bad people, and I think that every good person has the power to be a horrible person and do horrible things. I mean, you look at somebody that's done horrible and atrocious things, and you think about, we come from the same thing as that person. I mean, I believe that we come from the same genetic stock and all in the same. We're made of the same stuff, and we look pretty much. I mean, anatomically, we are the same. So it's in us too, for us to do bad things. Good people have that in them too. Bad people have good in them too. They just chose one way. And I think me and along with a lot of people, like, I want to be the best version of myself, and I want to do good. I want to do good by people, and I chose that. But I have some demons locked inside me too, and I have anger, and anger is another feeling that comes and goes, and we all need anger. But it's about us making the judgment, saying, do I want to speak up? Do I want to be angry? Do I want to communicate my emotions with this person at this time? Would that make life a better place, or should I just bite my tongue and settle it within? So I think we should think about that. Do we want life to be perfect? Or do we want life to be miserable place to live in? Or should we have that whole duality and binary system? Just like computers. I think computers are onto something. So anyway, did a lot of talking today. I'm sorry I didn't really focus on the game much. My Mage Alacaster, he's level 4. Gonna park myself right inside here. Gonna sell these off next time just because the dog's going pretty nuts. I think you could probably hear her eating stuff. Hopefully my girlfriend never sees this video because she'd be pissed at me. So I will see you guys later. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one, and Happy New Year.